What's up everybody, Antonio with the Nintendo Village here, coming at you with a first impressions video of Into the Breach, newly released on the Nintendo Switch, and I'm super excited about it. First of all, Into the Breach was coming at us as that one more thing at the end of the Indie Direct today, and I'm super excited about that. I love when they do that. Gets me so pumped. Now, I passed on Into the Breach when it originally released in February of this year on PC, knowing that it would be perfect on the Switch, and spoiler alert, it pretty much is. I've already played the first little island, so I want to say about an hour or so, maybe a little less, and I'm already head over heels in love with the game. For those of you who are unaware, Subset Games is the developer, creators of FTL. FTL, an amazing game, first coming to PC. I double dipped on it, played it on iPad, and it worked. It was great. Excellent game. Now, similarly, Into the Breach and FTL, both strategy games, and it's just amazing what they've done here. So I'm just going to get right into the gameplay just a little bit, but also try to unpack here what's going on, what makes the game so great. So the game is amazing because of its simplicity, and it's basically one of the strategy games that really makes you think about every little decision, and it gives you a little bit to play with, but in the end, you have a lot of flexibility, if that makes any sense. So getting right into it, we have these 3 units. Later on, just like in FTL, if you do well, you can upgrade what kind of units you bring on the battlefield. But you have your little mega mech things here, and you're trying to protect the city. The city, or these buildings on the map, they have to survive the attack of these giant monster things. And the power grid up top in the left here, you'll see, that power grid is linked directly to these buildings. So if one of them falls, the power grid will go down. It also marks on the number of casualties of people who die during the monster attacks. So sad, so very sad. So your objective is to kill the monsters and outlast each wave. In the top right, you'll see how many turns you have to survive. If even one of your mechs survive, you get to continue. Again, in the process of the battle, you don't want much damage to come to these buildings here, or the power grid will deplete to 0. Now, it's a roguelike, so when that power grid reaches 0 and depletes, it's game over. You have to start another run. Now, I haven't succumbed to these monsters like that yet, but I expect that I might get destroyed here, because I think this is one of the harder levels that I'm on right now. So I'm going to go ahead and play and kind of talk through what I'm doing here. So each of your units has particular weapons attached and a movement range, and then every enemy has particular movement and types of attacks. You want to take a peek at that. You want to learn what they can do, how hard these suckers will hit. One of the amazing things about the game is that the health bars are so low. You'll see here, again, this enemy has 4 health. You'll see here this has 2, this has 4. When I go over an enemy, it'll give me a preview, a little foresight into the enemy turn. So what are they going to do? These things right here says that an enemy is going to come newly onto the battlefield next turn from underground. If I have a unit over them, standing above, it'll take a hit of damage, but it will prevent them from entering the battlefield, so that's important. This arrow right here, well, actually this one's easier to see. This arrow right here says that this enemy is going to shoot a projectile over to that tile and destroy that building for 1 hit of damage. Very bad. This right here is going to do a projectile and shoot my artillery unit for 3 hits of damage. So all the yellow is going to be telling you again how hard they're going to hit, the trajectory of their attack. These red are going to show how the unit is going to be coming onto the battlefield or moving. Let's start to play, because I want to show you this really cool mechanic. So awesome. Alright, so I'm going to take my unit, right? I'm going to move them, right? Make sure I'm doing the right thing here. Yeah, I'm going to move them. And then I'm going to ready an attack, and I'm going to hit him. So again, this yellow indicator says I'm going to do 2 worth of damage. You can see the health bar flashing. It says I'm going to hit him pretty hard, and I'm going to move him over. I'm going to slide him over with my attack. Most attacks have a secondary effect of HP drain, but then secondary effect of sliding or moving around. Pretty crazy. So the reason that I did that, it wasn't just for no reason. I swear I thought it through. I'm going to move. Oh, we can't move this one. Okay, I'm going to do it with this guy. I'm going to try to move this unit here for the purpose of using an artillery shell to damage this enemy and slide him over. So this is where the strategy kind of gets involved. Like, which unit do I move? How do I hit him? How do I knock one enemy into another for extra damage? I love that you can do that. Boom. One hit of damage and knock this guy over. That's great. Let's see. What else do we have to keep in mind? Oh, so again, we're protecting the city. So first and foremost, if any... since the game is going to tell you what the enemy's going to do, what they're going to attack, you want to make that your priority. Again, this red is in danger. This red is in danger. Like, this is what's going to be happening the next turn. So I really want to protect this artillery shell. This artillery shell will hit this city right here, unless I do something about it, and I am. Or I'm going to try. So I'm going to go above here. Block that unit from coming next turn. I'm going to shoot this sucker. There we go. And now that little red shader went away, so this city is no longer in danger, at least not right now. I can see that I think one more unit to move. Or is this an attack? I left this guy. Let's see. Alright, whatever. So I think I'm done with my turn. Yeah, I'm done with my turn. In the top left, you'll see the 3 pilots and the mechs and the little mech outline, and that will tell you if you have any moves left. And I'm gonna end my turn. I have the speed turned up a little bit, so this is gonna move a little faster than normal. Oh no! The grid is bleeding power. We lost civilians. The enemies were able to attack. So again, I want to survive. You can see in the upper right again, victory in 3 turns. So I want to survive. I also can't let that power grid deplete. I also have to worry about the actual health of my units. If one of them survives, I get to move on to the next level, and all of their HP will reset. It will come back, so that's great. You want to pay attention to what types of units are on the battlefield at any one time. So this one right here, I forget what it's called, Scion? Last Scion? He has a passive effect that all other Vec will explode on death, dealing 1 damage to adjacent tiles. Okay, let me see if I understand what that means. All other Vec will explode on... Oh, okay. So while this guy is alive, all the other Vec, or as I like to call them, the large scary monsters, will explode on death, dealing 1 damage to adjacent tiles. So probably don't want him doing that. So I might make it a priority to kill him. We'll see. I'm going to play a couple rounds here so you can see everything in action. This is a death cloud smoke tile. Units in smoke cannot attack or repair. Oh, okay. So that's another thing. So a unit can use up its turn by repairing itself. That's interesting. Okay, I can't get through there. What do I do? I'm really worried about this guy here, but I also have to protect the cities. This guy right here is gonna destroy or damage the solar farm. If I defend the solar farm, that's a bonus objective. So I kind of want to prioritize that. See, that's the major difference between this and I would say FTL. Because in FTL, everything moved at quite a clip. And one of the things that you could do to improve your chances of success in that game was pause the game. A very fine gentleman, Dan Stapleton, on Twitter, let me onto that tip one day. And he told me, I said, you know, I keep dying in FTL, what's the tip? He said, pause the gameplay a lot, because it played out live in real time. This is very much more turn-based, but at the same time, I kind of enjoy that. It makes it a little less stressful, but I do feel like my choices are making an impact. So, you know, I like that. So the mix of tension and importance to your decisions and managing the minutia, there's something about all of this that I just love. And maybe you're like me and maybe you're not. But if you love strategy games, just based on my convoluted explanation of what's going on here, you can probably tell that this is definitely something that you might enjoy if you're a fan of the genre. And again, if you're not, then probably won't enjoy it very much. I feel like I'm kind of like in a no-win situation here, so I'm going to do my best to move the units around a bit. Did I already fire with this person? Oh, there we go. Oops. Oh, no! That was a bad move. Not much we could do. The solar farm wasn't built for battlefield operations. It's okay. I'll go with that. My moral compass is fine. So, what do I do here now? I'm gonna move this dude. Well, I gotta end my turn. It's very overwhelming. Again, part of it is me having the game speed turned up. Part of it is just the fact that enemies are coming up out of the ground. The ones on the field are doing their moves. And the AI, again, I haven't figured out if it can be beaten by like logic, but it looks like a lot of this game is dealing with the best that you can, adapting to the situation at hand with the tools that you have. And again, I dig that too. So I got nothing but high praise for all that. Let's see what I can do. Oh, these enemies have pretty decent health still. I still have to survive for 2 turns. I'm going to shoot at these dudes. There we go. Brought him down to 1 health. That'll make him manageable. I'm gonna see if I hit this character, he will slide out or explode out to damage my tank as well. Yeah, hitting him made him move out. Yeah, it's not good. Exploded on death because of this dude that I hadn't taken care of earlier. There's a lot of layers to the strategy game. Now, a couple things that I wanted to hit on before we go is every mech has it's like an unlockable. It's like an add-on. It's in the form of these pilots. These pilots can give your unit +2 health. It can give you more HP. It was more HP. I think it can give you extra turns. I'm sure there's a lot of other perks, a lot of other stat changes that these pilots can give you, in addition to you installing and upgrading other weapons to your mech, giving them extra HP just as an upgrade, and then adding to their movement. There's so many layers to each unit that you pilot. Now, again, I said that if I survive this game, if I survive this particular wave, that I was going to be able to continue the game as long as that power grid stayed in one piece, or it's had at least 1 bar. And that's true, but if the mech goes down in this round, unfortunately, we will lose the pilot. And that is very sad. Unfortunately, we'll lose the pilot and the stats as well. Now, I think this is, again, the premise of the roguelike is that this is a time travel element. So you reset and go to different monster battles. Once again, you can try over. I don't know which perks you retain on your next roguelike run-through. So it's very interesting to find that out. Again, this is only the 2nd island. So each major stage, each battle is just this little grid, and there are about like 10 or so little grids on each island. As you defeat an island boss, you move on to the next, and the terrain changes and things like that. Another thing that you have to think about. There's just a lot to unpack here. If that tickles your fancy, if you like the idea of strategy upon strategy upon strategy, if you can deal with the somewhat minimalistic visual style and you like that sort of thing, then this is just for you. Go ahead and pick it up at $14.99, I believe is what it released at. It's a steal. It's just, I know for a fact that its roguelike elements are not bothering me right now, which is one of the key things that is destroying people's confidence in games on the Switch. It's like, why is everything a roguelike? Is this all we're ever gonna get? And some people are okay with that, some people aren't. I love Dead Cells. I love some of these other roguelikes, but some of them are a little too punishing. I don't feel that way yet with this, but again, I didn't play more than the first island, the first hour or so I can't say for sure how grueling it's gonna be. I don't know what perks I'm gonna retain. Oh good, I got some more power just for beating the level. I wish I could have gotten all the bonus objectives, but I failed one for extra perks. Okay, so I guess this pilot has survived long enough to give the mech that they're piloting 2 HP. I find that invaluable. I find that the perks that are attached to these pilots are just really good sometimes, that they can make the difference. Let's go to the upgrade screen so you can see what I'm talking about. The key is to make sure, just similarly to FTL, you have to upgrade your reactor to gain enough slots, enough ability, enough once you get the actual orbs to place into your stats or your weapons. So the reactor being at 1, I can just go ahead and move my 1 wherever I need it to be. So I can put this little node, this little thing in. I have to keep at least 1 in weapons. That's interesting. But again, let's just say that I upgrade this to 2 and I happen to have another power orb thing. I can put it into health, put it into movement. Oh, buildings are immune to your damage. That's going to be cool. Even increase your damage. I've gotten some interesting weapon unlocks already on some of these. Let's see if I can move over. Here we go. Here is a pilot. And you can see the 2 unlockable perks there. How much XP until the next one unlocks. That's interesting. I can unequip my pilots, keep them at bay for a moment, and then figure out where I want each one to go. So which one do I want? Which one of my units do I want to have the 2 HP bonus to? I think that my combat mech gets a lot of traction. So I want to put it out there with a good amount of health. And I like my artillery mech to have 1 movement after attacking. So I'm going to go ahead and put him there. Oh, and he also had the 2 HP. So that's very convenient. So I'm liking my run so far. So again, we have the different levels available for me to play. You can see the perks that you can get for beating that level. So you either get the stars or the electricity to up your power grid. There's just so much here. The thing that I don't like about the game so far is not like in the music. It's very minimalistic. You kind of get a bit of you kind of get you don't get a lot. FTL's title screen was just iconic to me, and I'm not hearing anything here that's worthwhile. I'm hearing some wind noise during the levels. It seems to be the same no matter which level I'm on. So 1 point of improvement, I would say. And if the visuals were a different style, maybe a little more HD instead of the little 16-bit or whatever pixels this is, I would like that as well. But long story short, as I place my units here, I'm really enjoying my time with the game. I will suggest that you immediately pick it up. I believe it's worth the money, or will be worth the money, just in the short time that I played with it. It's for strategy people. It's like FTL in certain elements where if you do well, it rewards you. There's a lot of randomization to what's going to be in these unlockables at the end of each island. So there's a lot of replayability here, which I think FTL was known for as well. You can get a different set of mechs or a different team comp by unlocking further units. I believe that'll be like a big reward for getting through a run similar to FTL. Again, we'll see about that. And I don't know, it's just challenging so far. There's a lot to think about. So if you're a gamer that likes thinking and that likes strategy, just go ahead and pick up the game. And if you don't like it, I'll refund your money. That's not legalese. It's not legally enforceable, right? Is it? All right, everybody, thank you very much for joining us for this Nintendo Village first impressions of Into the Breach.